I think one of the first ways that I will say or I say one of the better ways to save your first, even 1,000. I think the most important thing is just to start off with saving. Starting the importance of saving a dollar is really just the fundamentals of growing. So basically, like say you have a job, right? Assuming you do have a job, however, whatever you do, right? Just $1. Learn to keep just $1 in your savings account and not feel the need to say just because it's a dollar, that is actually the most important part. Because it is a dollar is why I'm not going to take it out, right? Because you can say the same thing with $10, $50, $75, or $100. You can say it's $75. I'm just going to take five out and it'll be fine, right? No, it's $1. If you take $1 out, then you're not going to have anything, right? It's $75. If you take $5 out, you're going to have less, right? And that's the whole point of having a savings account, is to have a buffer. So just understand the value of saving a dollar. And when you understand that, that's when you can finally grow, right? At least keep a dollar in there for like, I don't know, um, 30 days, I guess, 30 to 60 days. It sounds like a long time, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not. 30 days will pass by like that if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Um, but when you start getting to bigger numbers like $100, $500, or $1,000, the first thing that I did with $1,000 was I first did the calculations and I looked at how much it would take me to be able to live off of a 2 weeks. Me personally, it's like $500, 2 week to a 2 week span. Maybe $100, $200 for groceries, and then car bill, phone bill, whatever else, right? You disperse it throughout the month. So just be responsible, make your calculations on what bills you need, and disperse your check from there, right? Allocate your money from there. Every dollar has a specific way that it's supposed to go, and make sure that you are tracking how every dollar is spent, right? Another way also that I kind of um, helped myself was I made it known, right? I told people, like telling people, it can be looked at as either bragging or saying, "Hey, look at me, I have a $3,000 or whatever," right? But for me personally, it helped because it made me more accountable, knowing that other people know my success, my personal success. Um, that honestly helped me more than keeping it to myself, because yes, you can have discipline, yes, you can have drive, but all of that really means nothing, because at the end of the day, we're larpers, right? At the end of the day, we want to show other people what we have. At least most people, right? I want a nice car. I want to show people I have a nice car. There's no other reason for me to get a nice car besides showing people I have a nice car. Yes, I like the car, right? But I like to see the reaction of people to drive around when they see I have a nice car. I want other people to know what I have accomplished, right? That is kind of the whole, I don't know. That's what I think a lot of people think when they get rich or buy fancy cars, buy nice cars, right? You don't like the look of a Bugatti. You like the price tag of it, and you know that other people know that it's a Bugatti, right? They're like, oh, he has a Bugatti, right? Or like a Corvette. A Corvette's my favorite car. I love the look of it, but I also would love to drive around, bump music. Everybody be like, oh, he got money. He got a Corvette. Oh, he got motion, right? So I think that can be another drive. But a lot of the time when you're kind of deciding on how much you need to spend or save in order to have a stable 2 weeks, or if you live with your parents, that's honestly the better situation, because then you can stack up your money, you can stack up your bread, and really save. When I lived with my parents, it was like I always knew I would have another check coming in. So the money that I received, that paycheck, didn't really matter. I could do whatever else I wanted with it because I didn't have bills at the time. So now that I have bills, also, imagine that you have bills. Now that I think about it, imagine that you have bills. I know it's hard because you probably don't have bills. And it's like, why would I imagine bills if I don't have bills? What's the point of doing that? To build discipline, right? You gotta respect the value of a dollar. You gotta respect the value of a savings account, okay? And if you don't respect money, money will not respect you, okay? You need to learn that very, very early on, because I learned that. And I'm still very early on, but Learn it as early as possible so you can understand how to allocate your money in smarter ways. If I would have known how to invest when I was 15, 16 years old, right? I would have had 10, 20, $30,000. Now, that is not to say that you need to invest at 15, 16, 17, or even 18 years old, right? You can start investing at any age. It does not matter. All that matters is the compound interest that you build when you start. The incentive you get when you start investing is like no other. You feel accomplished. You want to start more. You want to do more. You want to feel like more because you are more, right? Invest, reallocate, replace, and do it again. What I mean by replace is invest, allocate, and figure out something else. Figure out something else, another way to make money, right? Figure out another way to invest. Figure out something else to invest in, right? That's the best advice I can give you from what I've learned. And that's kind of how I've built my $2,000 savings account. A lot of the time when you start building with numbers that seem like a lot, it becomes very little when you get closer to that amount. When I had $0 in my savings account, $2,000 felt like an astronomical amount until I got close. And now I want more. And now you should want more. Because you're getting the feel of what it means. You're understanding the grasp of what it takes to get to what you want. If you want $100 in your savings account, start with one. If you want $1 in your savings account, start with 50 cents. See what it feels like to protect the smallest amount of money in your account. When you can do that, build from there and invest from there. Know what it feels like to be smaller before you can get bigger. Because the day that you get big is when you should realize that you would know exactly what it was like when you were small. So start investing, start saving, start assigning every dollar to something. Doesn't matter what it is. Assign a dollar. You control your money. Your money does not control you. Thank you for your time, and that is how I saved $2,000 at 19 years old.